Hey there, Danny here. Welcome to my ramblings. Got home late tonight, but I met a new friend, which really, excuse my allergies, they're horrible lately. Which really isn't anything new for me. That's kind of why I like doing what I do for a living, because I get to meet all kinds of new people, um, and you can learn things from other people. Um, so I got to thinking um, that my car had an issue tonight, so I had to pull over and let it cool down so I could fix the issue. And while I was waiting for the car to cool down, I popped the hood and I was standing outside because it's hot outside. And I'm like, all right, I'm not sitting in this hot car. Can't be running right now. I gotta let it cool down. So I was standing outside of the car. And it's like 9, almost 9 o'clock, or a little after 9. It was somewhere around there, around 9. And it's dark out. I'm not parking. I would have normally pulled in over by the one Home Depot, but I knew it was going to be closing, and I knew that their parking lot really isn't that packed or well lit. So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna park. I'm not gonna park there. I know I gotta sit for a while. So I parked over by there's restaurants and a gas station and an AutoZone and a little strip mall right there. And it's usually got a lot of people at that time of night around that area. So I'm like, all right, I'll pull over there. And I met my new friend while I was waiting for my car to cool down. I'm telling you, this is why I love my job. Because I get to be out and about and meet new people. Anyways, so then he left when he realized that I'll be okay, that I got it, I know how to fix it. And so I let it cool down and I fix it. We get back on the road, and I had paused the DoorDash app. So we went back to working because I had a specific goal that I needed to hit tonight, which I didn't quite hit it, but that's okay. Because the events of the night were crazy. Anyways, so when I got done fixing it, I went back out and I did a few more orders before my dash ended. Excuse me. And so I came home and I took the dogs out, got ready, so we go to bed. We're laying down watching Cold Case Files. I know, weird, right? What soothes me and calms me is watching some sort of murder mystery show. It's what I watch to go to sleep at night. Am I scared? No. And I can tell you why I do it, because when I first started watching that type of stuff, I was horrified. I was literally, I'm getting off topic here, but that's okay. It is my ramblings. So I would watch them because I was so, I'm sorry, my dogs are over there. I would watch it because I was so horrified that what is wrong with these people? What are they thinking? Why would they do something like this? Is why I started watching this murder mystery stuff. It was kind of like I have to understand this. This makes absolutely no sense to me. So I would watch and I would watch and I would watch and I would learn things, and I would realize things by things that either the people who were, the relatives of the person that was murdered or whatever say something, or the police or somebody in the thing will say something, and it'll trip something in my head, and I'll be like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And I'm not talking about the way that the criminal thinks. I'm talking about why we have so much of it. And this has been a question that has perplexed my brain for decades. At least 30 years. And this was one question that I had to have answered. It was a necessity to answer this. Because if you look at cold case files, we really didn't start getting a lot of them until like the 50s, 60s, more 60s and 70s. Right around 60s or 70s. And what changed? What changed that made it so we became so divided and hateful? And I would ask people their opinions on it, and I would look into it. It was an obsession of mine. The last 30 years, this is one damn obsession I needed answered. I could not be happy 100% with myself until I could answer this one question. And the question is, what changed? What changed that all of a sudden we have all this violence and this division that came about? And people would say, you'd watch people say that it had to do with, the whole free love in the 60s and drugs and whatever else, or women's movement and churches, people weren't going to church as much. These are all things that over the decades people have used to explain why all of a sudden murders were starting to become a normal thing. Where did all these, because I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody commits murder, honestly, you have to be in a demonic state to be able to do that. You can't be in a God state if you are hurting another human being. You don't even have to murder them. If you are choosing to hurt another human being, I don't care, mentally, emotionally, physically, I don't care, spiritually. If you are trying to hurt another human being, you are being demonic. Godly would never want revenge, retaliation, or anything else. They would understand that you're not on your walk with the man upstairs. And these things always perplex me. And I'm like, okay, so they're in a demonic state. Okay, so I can't believe that it didn't fit. The women's lib, the free love, the drugs. Yes, those all changed at that time. People going to church as much as they used to. Yes, all of it changed during that time. But that didn't stop people from believing in God. Just because people weren't attending churches regularly and they were becoming more open with free love does not necessarily mean that they stopped believing in God. And this is where they keep us trapped. Because you must think that you have to only believe that he exists and you're going to heaven. That's not true. That's not how it works. You must be as close to Jesus as you can. You're gonna fall. You're gonna sin. You're gonna make mistakes. That's why you're human. But the reason Jesus died for you was so then you could be like him. And still, if you sin and you decide, oh shit, I sinned, I can't do this anymore, I can't. You can now go to him. You can now come be like him. And once you start being like him, belief has nothing to do with anything. You don't have to believe he exists. Because once you start acting more like Jesus does, the more you want to keep going that way. The more you realize that you don't have to believe in shit. Because you are on your walk with the man upstairs, you know he fucking exists. There's no belief. And they keep belief in your head. And here is why. Here is why. Because I finally figured it out. Here is why they have kept us. Here is why the violence and all of that, the murders, all that stuff changed at about the 50s, 60s, 70s. I want to say more like 60s, 70s. But I think it started a little bit in the 50s too. So here's why. Technology. It changed because of technology. Prior to people having televisions in all of their homes to watch television, prior to then, nobody believed. They knew he existed. Evil was still around. The difference back then, though, is they thought they needed to keep it quiet. That was wrong. You keep anything that is dark quiet, you're supporting it. But technology, hear me out. Now technology comes in, and now we're watching television. We're watching whatever we want at all. And sports are now a huge, big thing. They might have had sports before, but you couldn't really see it. You might listen to it on the radio or whatever else. But here's the thing. They did have sports back then before the television, didn't they? Yes, they did. So now let me get to the point. Technology has taught you and I and everybody else in the whole entire world, they have taught us that we must be in competition with each other. Technology has reinforced that. Because if we are in competition with each other, we can't come together. Did you see that one movie, Ants? And they say in the one part that the ants outnumber them. Well, you're an ant. I'm an ant. You do realize that if we stopped competing with each other, because that's what they keep feeding us. I mean, just look at competition. All business is about competition. They talk about it all the time. You get into all this competition. Why is competition pushed down your throats? Because as long as we're competing with each other, they can control us. You do understand one thing, that if we stopped competing with each other and we all came together and became those ants, we outnumber all business and all government. At any time we are done being manipulated and controlled by the system, we can all just stop getting competitive with each other and start working together. And that's why they keep competition alive the way that they do. Because if we're competing with each other, we're divided. And ants cannot overtake, by the power of numbers, business or government, if they're too busy competing with each other. We ants outnumber all business and government. All of it can go bye-bye if we wanted to, because we outnumber them. But they keep feeding us competition, because competition will keep us divided. So think about that. But I got my answer. I got my answer exactly as to why. Why? Why did this stuff change? technology. It was mass manipulation. That's all this is. That's all competitiveness is to keep us divided amongst each other. Think about it. Just think about it. Anyways, have a nice night, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Love ya.